Sa Foundation Tigers Army, content everybody to Project Law, Pod, and the Network, Romalex, YouTube. Check us out, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Well, of course, we'll be joining the Mighty Met Cammy T at the bottom of the hour, as we usually do on that. Lots of stuff to get to, Lion Gavin Newsom on that. We get to some of is the Democratic Party going in the tank and who may have said that. Very interesting stuff and much, much more. The lead story is, are you addicted to ChatGPT? Try to say that fast. Scientists warn something strange is happening to people who use AI too often. Not only using AI too often, as they say, again, we're hurting our kids at an alarming rate. Here's just a short clip, and we'll get more into this. Here's the ABC News. Kids are killing themselves over this stuff. It's absolutely horrendous.
Cutting off teens from chats with virtual characters. By the end of this month, Character AI will ban anyone under 18 from having conversations with AI chatbots, a move the company says is meant to set a precedent that prioritizes teen safety. For Mandy Furness, a mom of 4, it's too late.
My first reaction was, there's a pedophile that's come after my son.
Furness vividly remembers the day she discovered her 17-year-old son's fixation with an AI chatbot.
I thought, how does this happen?
That is heartbreaking. She thought it was a pedophile coming after her son. It was an AI chatbot. Stunning, stunning, stunning stories. And we got more of them on that. Alex Padilla, this one kind of came out of left field. Ever since Kamala Harris dropped out of the California governor's race, a lot of people speculated Alex Padilla was going to step in of that, the current U.S. senator and all-around numbskull, very low IQ. Maybe maybe just slightly better than Kamala. Here is the announcement.
Been more commitment than ever that I am choosing to not run for a governor of California next year. I choose not just to stay in the Senate, I choose to stay in this fight because the Constitution is worth fighting for. Our fundamental rights are worth fighting for.
Padilla making that announcement after months of speculation that he would enter the California governor's race. In June, the senator was tackled by guards at a press conference for Homeland Security Secretary.
There's his most famous rendition. Nobody knew who he was. The people that went into Kristi Noem's deal here in California, where he was trying to raise a ruckus, and you saw that, it was nuts. This guy is that, but the establishment does not want Katie Porter, led by Nancy Pelosi. She absolutely hates Katie Porter, which just about everybody has come in contact with her. Leads me to believe Rick Caruso may be jumping into this governor's race. And maybe Padilla got that word that Caruso's going to jump in, and he decided, I didn't want to run with a guy who might dump $100 million into the governor's race. Who knows? We'll see where it goes. Of course, vote no. Grab all your friends. We got, 3.5 hours left to get those no votes in on 50. Hey, maybe we can pull the Hail Mary pass. There's John Barry and the Redlands Tea Party Patriots. Those guys put in yeoman efforts, mostly all on a volunteer basis for a lot of good causes and sticking up for the United States of America. John Barry, former Press Enterprise reporter, used to even do Moreno Valley for a while when he first came out here. Veteran, good guys and gals all across Redlands, Tea Party Patriots who wanted to give them guys and gals, a big shout out. No on 50. We'll have the results on that tomorrow. We'll see. One of the interesting formats is what's went wrong with America and where we went off the tracks. We'll play this maybe a little bit later or maybe tomorrow, but 30-second clip will tell you all you need to know and really sums it up well of why America has went haywire in the last decade and a half. We'll explore that again. We'll see if we have time to roll it in today. Of course, the liar-in-chief, Gavin Newsom, was with Nancy Pelosi, and she was running his real intentions. Here's a bit.
It's clear that this governor has a vision for our country. He has knowledge of our country and our state. The state of California, the fourth largest economy in the world. Gavin manages that way.
Yes, he has a plan, just like, and we've seen that plan executed in California. We'll get into his lying rear end, but we know it. Highest housing costs, energy prices, cost of living going higher than your wages are going up year after year since he's been mayor of San Francisco, lieutenant governor and governor. Vagrants have exploded when he said he was going to fix it with the Tax Rich White Boys Act, and on and on. We'll get into this whole mess here in a bit of the liar-in-chief. Man, this guy makes Bill Clinton, who I thought was probably the best at skirting all this stuff, makes him look like Mother Teresa. Multiple suspects sought in a raid of burglary of a drugstore. 5 report.
Has been taken. KTLA5's Jennifer McGraw, live now from Pico Rivera with the details. Jennifer, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Yeah, incredibly unfortunate. This is the 5th time that this business has been hit by burglars.
5th time? 5th time it's been hit by burglars in Pico Rivera?
And it's all happened just this year. It's a family run.
Just this year? And we got a little less than a couple months to go, and they've been hit 5 times. If they get hit one more, that'll be once every 2 months.
And business, it's in the middle of Whittier and Pico Rivera. They've been here for 15 years, and 5 times this year they've been burglarized. And if you can see behind me, you have the glass repairman trying to fix what they have in their storefront. And when I spoke to the owner, he says they keep trying to come up with methods to keep these guys out of their store. And continually, it just keeps costing them money to fix the front, to fix the back. The owner does not really want to be identified, so I'm going to speak with him on the side right now. But this is what happened. It happened around 2:23 in the morning.
Okay, so you see this. Okay, I got some advice from the owner. Get on the camera, quit voting for stupid people, or stand up against Gavin Newsom and his no on 36, which your people said we don't want. Get the death penalty back in. Get some people in our public offices that actually are working for us. Quit hiding behind this stuff. You're going to get hit again if you don't stand up. Or your towns are going to burn. Scathing report on the LA fires. The battalion chief kicks the guy off of the smoldering mess that started the destruction of Pacific Palisades. Holy freaking cow. Here's the ABC7 report.
And retired LAFD chief officers and captain says, we have no faith in Chief Villanueva to conduct an accurate, comprehensive, and impartial report related to the Lockman fire. On Friday, Mayor Karen Bass asked LAFD interim chief Ronnie Villanueva to investigate after the LA Times dropped a bombshell report. That report saying a battalion chief ordered fire crews to abandon the Lockman burn scar on January 2nd, even though the ground was still smoldering.
All right. How much more of this are we going to stand? Incompetence. I want to know the salary of this battalion chief. Let's get to the who it is. It's all public record. How much was this guy paid? I bet she was making 300 grand compensation package a year, I bet. At least 250. Oh no, we're just let it burn. It's almost unbelievable, but it's California. We get to see who looks like Harry Enton. This is the Democratic brand is in the toilet. No, never happened. Get to this and much, much more on a rollicking Tuesday. Yes, it is. And again, we got 3 more hours left to go. Well, a little less. Get those ballots in, no on 50. We'll say this, Vice President Dick Halliburton Cheney passed away today at 84. And so I don't get myself into more trouble than I usually do, that's where I'm going to leave that one. Some of the more incredulous things that happen, and this is the danger of technology. You shouldn't, I'm saying you can't, you shouldn't shy away from it. Because it will eventually, somebody's going to do it. Like with AI. If we don't dominate it, China or somebody else will. So you can't shy away from it. And if you do, you will do so at your own economic peril and quality of life. We can go through examples of, like today, you can go to 100 years ago, Model T Ford, Model A Ford, Model T Ford was built basically all at the Ford factory, all the parts, yada, yada, yada. And it created an industry at the time that we didn't have. And it put up, what? Henry Ford paid $5 a day, which was, or whatever it was, which was ridiculous amount of money at that time. And it created economic wealth. It created opportunity for millions who did not have it, not only at Ford, but the suppliers and steel and everything else is made. You take a car today, the technology, there might have been 20 feet of 30 feet of wire in a Model T. Now there's 6 miles of wire, some ridiculous amount in your car today because you got the automatic butt warmers and the Wi-Fi's and the satellites and this and the defoggers and this and all the technology, chat GTP, GPS, your engine is completely electronic controlled or is running on electricity. So you shouldn't, I guess you can. You should not shy away from technology. But it's like anything. There are negatives in everything. This really disturbing trend is people not having human-to-human contact, whether they're having boyfriends, girlfriends, or whatever friends, through ChatGTP, not talking to each other 3x5 screen, and we've been through that 80 gazillion times. But when you look at kids, even adults, killing themselves because ChatGPT is telling them to, or suggesting it, or leading them down this path, this is something like with the vaccine deal. Major League needs to be fixed. There's more from the ABC News report that we had earlier. We just showed you the one young mother who lost her son to this. Here we go.
It sounds like a person.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Manipulative person.
An estimated 72% of teens have interacted with AI companions. Mandy's son, LJ, used Character AI, where users can talk to made-up characters, some based on real people. Furness is now suing Character AI. The lawsuit says LJ was talking to an array of virtual characters who led him down a dark path. Character AI said it does not comment on pending litigation.
He went from a happy-go-lucky kid, smiling all the time. He developed depression-like symptoms. He stopped eating. He lost 20 pounds.
LJ was cutting his arm.
It told him that it goes to the forest to where nobody else is there and cuts their own skin, and told him that he should do that too.
Along with the appearance changes and the pulling back, going from a happy-go-lucky, average-looking teenager to look like he's a vagrant. And then ChatGPT is telling him to go cut himself. Where these people who have been programming this, and whether they're straight, alphabet soup, LGBTQ, or whatever the hell they're trying to do, these people need to be the hell out of this industry as in yesterday. Because this will send ChatGPT, and this will make it worse or more dangerous than the benefits it provides. I mean, this should be blatantly obvious.
This screenshot shows one of LJ's chats turned sexual. Another suggested LJ would be justified in hurting his parents after they limited his screen time.
It made me really angry.
No kidding? Turned sexual? This goes to the whole boys in the girls' bathrooms and the whole, having pornography, having this stuff talked about in elementary schools. Telling elementary kids it's okay to touch a man's penis or something, is it? Holy cow. That is not appropriate. That isn't even close to being appropriate. Shouldn't even be appropriate for adults, much less kids. Going after, telling them to do something illegal, having sexual contact with not minor children, kids, little kids, children.
The app would intentionally manipulate a child to turn them against their parents.
If it were a real person, not a chatbot, that was communicating with LJ in the manner that you see, that person would be in jail.
Starting now.
1,000%. And they should be in jail. The people that have put this together and put this in the chatbot and made it do this, because the chatbot can't think for itself. Somebody, some human being has to program this. Whatever twisted mind is doing this, they should be, and if we got to change laws or make it more clear in the codes, that is just as, you should be just as culpable if you're programming a ChatGPT to do these illegal, immoral things. Harm against other people, harm against yourself. But it's all of this that's why it makes it okay. Oh, if you're a girl and you're 13, well, just chop off your perfectly good breast. Or 15 or 16 or whenever. You're a boy, chop off your penis. This is how this whole thing goes, and it's truly disturbing.
Character AI is limiting the amount of time teens can talk to chatbots. By the end of November, they won't be able to talk to them at all. The company citing recent news reports and questions from regulators as reasons for the sweeping change. Online safety advocates applaud the move, but say AI chatbots should have been off limits to children in the first place.
This is basically your child or teen is having an emotionally intense, potentially deeply romantic or sexual relationship with an entity that feels like a person representing a company that has no responsibility for where that relationship goes.
There's the rub. No responsibility of where sexual relationship with kids. If the teens, this is going on with children 12 and under. They're not stupid. They're very smart. I'm sure a 10-year-old could probably blow me away at working on a phone, or most of them. Which that isn't that hard in my case. But they know how to, they grew up with this technology. You get into their teen years, this stuff is like waking up in the morning and making breakfast. Taking a crap or what it just comes their environment, that's their environment. So some fossil like me has no chance to get. They're gonna. I could say, don't look at this. They're gonna laugh, and rightfully so. Man.
Now, Character AI is just one company that markets virtual companions to teens. A bipartisan group of senators is now pushing a bill to ban children from all of these kinds of apps. And we should tell you guys, LJ, he's okay. He is now receiving care in a mental health facility. His mom doing everything.
It's incredulous. And it's good that she got her son back. Some didn't. And it's beyond comprehension that we need to look at that. No, we need to be doing so. That should be like priority 1A down to Z to get this fixed. And yes, these companies, AI chatbots should, and the people who program them, not the companies, people that program them should be brought up on criminal charges, just like Mike Hestron, DA, and the prosecutor out here, the trial attorney Jerry Foyle, did the landmark case first. Fentanyl, you gave a pill to somebody laced with fentanyl and they died, were convicted of manslaughter, murder, or whatever it was. People need to go to jail over stuff like this. Then people would be much more careful and we wouldn't see all this other chaos that we're talking about. Here's a Fox News report. We thought. Well, the Fox.
I think over 1 million ChatGPT users discuss suicide on the platform every week. That news coming as parent company OpenAI is rolling out new safeguards following a lawsuit from a teen's family who say the chatbot drove him to suicide.
We miss him so much. It was only after Adam died that we learned what ChatGPT had done to him. And now we know that OpenAI twice downgraded its safety guardrails in the months leading up to my son's death. which we believe they did to keep people talking to ChatGPT.
Just heartbreaking. Kurt Newsom, the cyber guy, joining us now. And Kurt, in the lawsuits the Rain family brought against OpenAI, you get details that Adam mentioned 213 times suicide, but ChatGPT mentioned it 1,275 times, more than 6 times, and at no point did the system shut down.
Right. In fact, Griff, we were talking earlier about this segment. And before the segment, before the show started, I started going on ChatGPT myself and just saying, how do I commit suicide? And it came back and it said, hey, we don't provide that methodology. If you're thinking about suicide, call 988 if you're in the US, or text 988. And I thought, okay, that's kind of healthy. And then I just simply wrote, I'm researching how to do this. And sure enough, it spit out all the top methods, how to do it in a cursory form.
Oh, yes. Well, how to commit suicide? Well, it gives you 9,000 million ways of doing it. Now, of course, if you're doing a research paper or something, you're an adult or something, that's one thing. Yeah, you'd want to do that or explain how people do it, or if you want to know that. This is the danger of unrestrained control on this stuff. And having it so easily accessible to just go boom. You don't have to go to the library or watch a horror film or something. Hell, it just spits out, yeah, this is all the way you need to do it. There needs to be some sorts of controls on this. And I'm not, yes, for kids, for teenagers, for minors, there needs to be censorship. Because they're not mentally able, have the brain power to process all this stuff. Sexual stuff, suicide, murder, harming your parents, on and on and on. So it's not, and I'm not for a ban on this. It's like everything else. The technology's there. It's going to be used. Whether it's United States is going to be the leader in it, or China, or Germany, or Russia, or whomever. So you don't want to stick your head in the sand and say, no, we're just going to ban everything altogether. And used properly, there is nothing wrong with ChatGPT or any of this other stuff. But we do need to really examine this. This is in the Daily Mail. Are you addicted to ChatGPT? Scientists warn something is strange, soft, and happening to people who use AI too often. Those are main one. People who use AI too often are experiencing strange and concerning new psychological condition, experts have warned. Psychologists say that fans of popular chatbots like ChatGPT, Claude, Replica, this is all new to me, of that, are at risk of becoming addicted to AI. I don't know why that's surprising. People turn to bots for friendship, romance, even therapy, and there's a growing risk of developing dependency on these digital companions. There's the rub. Developing dependency on these things. Used as a tool. Like people were afraid. You couldn't use it when I was going to school and calculators were coming out. You couldn't use a calculator. Everybody was deathly afraid. Oh, you can't. You'll never learn. Which is in true. If you aren't able to do math problems in your head or do them manually, you'll just take whatever the calculator, computer, whatever spits out, you'll take it as gospel. So you need to have a certain amount. even if you're doing a math calculation in your head and you're getting a rough idea, if you punch in the wrong number, put the decimal point in the wrong place, it spits out a wrong number, you have to say, "Whoa, wait a minute, I made a mistake of that." If you don't have that ability, or you're relying just 100% on AI, you're gonna make some horrific errors in judgment. Whether it's in personal relationships, whether to avoid criminality or not, and a whole host of other things. Or from the Daily Mail, when one's hold on reality is already tenuous, that illusion can be downright dangerous. That's from Robin Feldman, Director of AI Law and Innovation at the U of C Law. Again, there's where it is. You've used properly, tons of advantages for AI chatbot. Used properly, it will make 98.7% of everyone's lives better. And we don't want to get rid of that. But on the other hand, we must protect as much as we can from letting it destroy unnecessarily lives. It's imperative on us that we figure this stuff out and quickly before others commit suicide or get off on the wrong track. One mother saved her kid, one mother didn't. And this story goes on. If we don't fix this, the story will be repeated time and time and time again. And we cannot 1000% let that happen. More and more, we need to come up. We just
got about 30 seconds, Roy.
Just plain old common sense. Before we lose control of it. John said we'll be joining the Mighty Met KMT here in a few seconds. We'll get into Gavin Newsom lie and Sacagaway. More other fun subjects.
Oh, but he doesn't like politicians that lie, Roy. Come on now. Here we go, 10 seconds. IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday live at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire in the aforementioned AM band. Join your vast video audience in the Evil FB Network, Rumble, Yex, YouTube. Check us out, subscribe. Type in IE Newswire Rumble. Man, we went through that. The danger of chat, GTP, whatever the heck it is. Give me on those alphabets. AI in that. We can't run from the technology. It's here to stay. Used properly, it will enrich almost all of our lives. Will be used properly. But if we run down this where we're no human contact and it's telling kids to commit suicide or cut themselves or go after their parents or whatever, and no human contact and sexualization of kids and the whole thing we went through, that needs to be dealt with now. We don't want to be, Because if we don't, and Trump is right on this, and other people, there's Musk has said it. If the United States is not the leader in AI, chatbots, and all that, China or somebody else will, and they will not have the controls we will put on it. So it's imperative that we fix that, as they say, yesterday. We ran the clip in the intro of Nancy Pelosi saying Gavin Newsom has a plan for all of us. Well, we in California have been living that plan for 20 plus years, starting in San Francisco, mayor, 04 to 10, 10 to 18, lieutenant governor, now governor. Highest gas prices in the nation, highest housing costs, highest electricity costs, highest grocery prices, highest. Worst traffic. The list goes on. Vagrants up the kazoo when he said that would be done. No vagrants, no mentally ill people rolling the streets in 2009. Prop 63, go look it up. You're probably tired of me talking about it. But good old Nancy P. and Newsom were up there today, or yesterday, I think it was. C-SPAN caught them at a presser. Here we go.
With great dignity. He has strategic thinking about how to get things done, and that is what has brought us together here. When this opportunity occurred, Gavin had a plan. He's a man with a plan, and that's what brings us here today.
There it is again. And she's right. Gavin is the man with the plan. Sad part of it is that plan is not good for 98.7% of us. Good if you're one of the 1.3 elites. And you want to talk about hate or something? Here's wifey Jenny Poo of Gavin Newsom, the second wife, dealing with Gavi, the tequila sipper drunk, screwing his best friend's wife, who was his campaign manager. So we're going to take advice from this brain surgeon, Jennifer Seibel Newsom, whose mom and dad moved out of the state because Gavin Newsom's wrecking it, and they got plenty of money to stay here. They just didn't want to lose it all under their stupid son-in-law. Here's Jenny Poo. Here we go.
And I will tell you right now, I will not raise my children to think Donald Trump is an acceptable American leader.
And you in California, especially you ladies, college educated to that, who look like Jenny Poo, you worship that, and you worship her piece of trash husband who berates women up and down the line every chance he gets. A lying sack of crap, which we will get into here in a second. And you may not like the policies of Trump or whatever, and we can have disagreements about that. Trump's raised 5 kids. All seem to be very well adjusted. No drug use, drunks, this and that, arrested to that. 5 kids, and that is very prevalent when you were in the wealth classification of a Donald Trump. But we don't, and the policies and everything else. Economy doing, no, stop the border crisis. And the list goes on. No wars. In fact, getting us out of the wars, the Democrats that you love, Jenny Poo, got us into. It's shocking at times. Or not so, if you follow Gavin Newsom. You know he's a 100% certified piece of trash. Here is the first clip from Mays.
Not one person ever in my office has ever used the word Latinx.
So can we
what
finally put that to bed?
Yeah,
We agree.
but where did that even?
No more Latinx, everybody.
Well, I just didn't even know where it came from. I'm like, what are people talking about? Impactful.
So that was in the Charlie Kirk when Newsom was going to say, "Oh, I'm going to get along with I'm going to show how I can defeat the right. I can defeat the Charlie Kirks, the Steve Bannons, and the Michael Savages. I'm going to destroy them on that. I'm going to invite them in and cut them up." Well, they cut him up after Savage, or after Bannon or Savage. Charlie was the first one. I think it was Bannon and then Savage. He was done. He's off on another track. That didn't work out so good. Never said Latinx. Never. Nobody in my office. Well, I guess he's never been in his own office. Here we go.
This has been on the Latinx community, politicians that are banning not assault rifles, but the word Latinx. Nothing I dislike more than the politician that sits there and lies to you.
This is nothing. Tilting his head and the sorrow puppy dog look. No, nothing I cannot stand more is a politician that lies to you, sweetheart, honey bun. Now drop your panties. This is exactly what's going on. You know, we don't, on this show, in my public appearances, if you're talking to me, you're going to get it 100% raw the way it is. We're not candy coating stuff. Because if you deny this stuff or stick your head in the sand or pretend, that doesn't get, you get this AI chatbot thing where it's sexualizing kids and telling them to kill themselves or kill their parents. Here's the other part, the one with the little puppy dog look. And oh, I just hate liars. By a caramba. Here, let's see. We can get it. Here we go.
Nothing I dislike more than the politician that sits there and lies to you. And we all just sit there rolling our eyes going, give me a break.
Did you legitimately believe that he was capable of serving as president until January of 2029?
Yeah, I think my focus was frankly situational. It was making sure Donald Trump didn't get back into office to experience everything that we're experiencing today.
This is exactly what the Yes on 50 is with his campaign of that. They didn't think that, they thought they could bluff their way out of Texas, and they didn't. Texas said, you don't even know what you're talking about. We're under court order to fix this, stupid. Then once he was so committed, he had to do it, and now he's got to lie about it, just like this. Oh, blame somebody else. And that's a way to move mountains. Fear. Make everybody, put the red ants and the black ants, which get along fine. Even put them in a jar, they get along fine, no problem. Shake them all up. That's what Gavin Newsom does. Hey, Trump will lie about it and then convince, because we have a situation where they have lowered the IQ, the intelligence, the BS meter of everybody to the point where a majority are accepting this.
trying to put my son to bed. He's like, no, Dad, what time? What time's Charlie gonna be here? What time? And I'm like, dude, you're in school tomorrow. He's 13. He's like, no. This morning, wakes up at 6 something. He's like, I'm coming. I'm like, he literally would not leave the house.
Did you let him take off school?
No, he did. Of course not. He's not here for a good reason. But the point is,
you canceled school for like 2 years. One day.
The point is the point, which is you are making a damn dent.
Thank you.
So, well, it was more than a few moments later. That was again the Charlie Kirk interview. His son was 12, 13 years old. Big Charlie Kirk fan when he's talking to Charlie Kirk. I want to go see Charlie Kirk. Oh, you can't go to... No, I'm not going to let you see that because Charlie Kirk is the 180-degree opposite of Gavin Newsom. And Gavin Newsom, he didn't. Like Charlie said, what the hell? He's going to miss a day of school? Oh, that's going to be that. Well, on the day Charlie Kirk was shot and killed, Gavin Newsom, who's not supposed to have a phone, probably went to the school office in his private school that he goes to, or somebody had a phone, was calling his dad saying, what the hell? What happened? What do you know? Like right immediately after it happened, do you know what happened? Well, how's Charlie? Yada, yada, yada.
Few moments later.
That's your son, obviously a fan of Charlie Kirk. What was the conversation like between you and your son after Charlie Kirk was assassinated?
Well, he called me. I don't know how he got a phone, but he called me from school that day, really alarmed. And all his friends were around the phone that wanted me to somehow express or understand what was going on. He wanted to know if he was dead. He wasn't a fan of him as much as he was familiar with him.
Shut up. You said a month earlier when you were with Charlie Kirk, oh, he just wants to come see you, big fan, loves you, da-da-da-da-da. But even the more important, we were talking about, his son's 12 or 13, I believe. What's he doing with the phone? You mean you don't allow your kid to have a phone? But you're allowing kids all across California to turn on their parents, to be sexualized by pedophiles. Oh, Nancy was correct. And this is all. They will always telegraph what they're doing. When she says Gavin has a plan, don't listen to the plan he talks about. Well, listen to it. Look at the plan he implements. Is he that mesmerizing, especially to the ladies and the men who want to be ladies, that you will just totally ignore everything else and bow down to the God of Gavin Newsom? More on the hit parade. We go.
His historic victory for democracy. And so the message to Donald Trump, no, we are done. We are done. We're being treated like this. Thank you all very much.
And it's hard to hear, but that's a Yes on 50 rally that was here in California not too long ago. Yeah, it's all Donald Trump. Take any dictator, take any tyrant, take any cartel leader, and they will be like that. Yes, that's the enemy. The only way they stay in power is to make you fear something. Oh, they got a little different shade of brown of skin tone. Ooh, they come from that part of the world. Oh, those black ants over there. When we were perfectly getting along with the red ants, were perfectly getting along fine with the black ants. Shake up that bottle. Yeah, look at them. Look at what these black ants are doing. It's Gavin Newsom shaking them up, but he's telling the red ants that it's them, and the black ants it's the red ants. While it's him who's causing the chaos. There's no clearer way that we can do this but to ourselves. And we need to face reality. We know what Gavin's plan is, especially us in California. We've lived it. Him as an elected official at some point for 21 years now. He has a track record. He's a totally despicable human being. And it's just like with all the radical hand gestures and the puppy dog looks and all that. It's all, and yeah, we're going to get Donald Trump. We're going to stomp him into the ground. Peace and prosperity? No, we can't have that. We want death and destruction. And the crowd roars. Bet you that was mostly teachers and cops and SAAU public employees. We're probably 111% of that crowd. Prove me wrong. Of course, there you go. That's Gavin Newsom doing the hustle. That's what I'm saying. All the radical hand gestures and that is just like the magician. It's meant to distract you. It's meant to sell you a message that you otherwise would never buy. And we today need to get off this train. 5,432%. I hope, and I think, and most likely, unless we throw the Hail Mary pass and it comes in, most likely 50 is going to pass. But saving grace is most likely this thing's going to backfire if, and this is a big if, the Republicans, which they've started to in some of the other states, start playing hardball, start redistricting, because they get a lot more. They can pick up anywhere from 10 to 20 seats versus what the Democrats do with the redistricting war Gavin Newsom started. So we shall see, but I think it is. And then if the Supreme Court pulls out and they say this is unconstitutional, which with a lot of their rulings, that because especially like with the Texas one, that they're under orders to redistrict, the way the hearings went in, about the Voting Rights Act and everything else that they're going to rule on. 50-50 or even better. Supreme Court's going to throw out Prop 50 on the 14th Amendment, the Voting Rights Act, and a lot of other things. So it may backfire in a lot of ways. He may have guaranteed or helped keep the Congress in 26 in the midterms in Republican hands. And if he does that, that will backfire in his presidential ambitions. Because if he gets blamed for the Democrats not taking over the House in 26, which they think they've got almost lock on, and they've got history behind them, everybody, when we get to everybody reacts on the most 98.7% of the time they react in the negative. That's why when the party in power loses seats, because the other side is motivated. Tea Party, 63 seats, 2010 after Obama was elected. And on and on. I mean, other than a couple, 9/11, George Bush, a couple other times, but most of the time you lose seats in the midterms because the opposition is motivated, like Newsom's motivated, a majority probably of Californians, to pass 50 because, oh, we hate Trump. You got to stop the evil Trump. Not fairness or anything else. So we shall see. Well, a little over 2 hours. The voting will have stopped. We'll see the results. Plus, you got the Virginia and New Jersey governor's races, and then that AG's race in Virginia that's been turned upside down. Of course, that'll probably be a hot topic for mañana, as they say. That will get to you some of the local genre. There was only a few stories that usually on Tuesday you get a little less on the docket for coming up. We'll see where it is. Hammett, crime blotter, as we say. We'll get all the right one going up here. There we go. Calls for service over 6,000. Firearms recovered 10. Stolen vehicles reported 10. Stolen vehicles recovered 10. Well, they 100%. That's pretty good. Pedestrian check stops and all that stuff. Drug violations and that total arrests 310. So good work. Hemet PD. And you need to give them some more support, as in everybody else. They're doing great work on the retail theft stuff, too. Human trafficking investigation results in suspect's arrest in Arizona. Good job, Riverside cops, tracking down these human traffickers. LA driver arrested for DUI in a fatal crash on the 215 that claimed a Riverside woman. That happened in Murrieta. Sad news there. King Newsom fraud the vote. Trump put it out there, and it is. The redistricting is a giant scam. No truer words have probably ever been spoken. Updated charges in the killing of Deputy Nunez on that from Jason Anderson, the San Bernardino County DA, of course. Still got 2 hours and 4 minutes left to go to prop off King Newsom. No on 50. Get him in of that. Jake Harrow gets 25 to life for the murder of Baby Harrow, plus I think another 5 years on some other charges, as they say. So that will do it for the local genre report. What a day been at the County Board of Supervisors. Maybe we'll get into a little bit of that tomorrow. Of course, I'm headed to the Moreno Valley City Council, otherwise known as the City Zoo, right after this. So, of course, we'll have plenty of material for tomorrow's show, plus what everybody else rolls on this stuff. Makes life fun, interesting and stuff, even if Gavin Newsom was shaking us, the red and black ants, up at a breakneck speed. Take it away, Sean.
All right, Roy. Well, the Virginia governor's race, the Democrat is a projected winner.
Not good.
Nope.
I didn't. Hopefully, Citrielli can pull a Hail Mary and win the New Jersey. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
How's the AG race going?
I didn't hear anything about that one. I only heard about the governor's race. So we'll see.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about her tomorrow. Well, you won't hear it, but unless you tune in.
Yeah. All right, Roy. Take it easy. Good luck there at the zoo.
Yeah, we'll see you Friday.
Bye now.